foreign leaders, foreign nations, absolutely furious at Donald Trump, his regime, and by proxy, the entire United States. They're canceling military projects with the United States, canceling military contracts with the United States, and they are looking elsewhere. Europe's just saying we're going to buy from Europe, not the United States anymore. We saw Canada as well doing a reevaluation of its F-35 orders, and we're seeing this around the world. Trump viewed as not a reliable person, and that Trump has previously even joked about putting in a kill switch into our military weapons. And people see how he's treating Ukraine right now, how he's sucking up to Vladimir Putin. So take a look right here, a big loss for Trump in the United States of America as Denmark chooses a Franco-Italian air defense system over the U.S. Patriot air defense system. That contract's about $8 billion going away from the United States in favor of this Franco-Italian company. And this decision comes after the United States has threatened to annex Greenland, which is part of the territory of Denmark. And then the United States has engaged in an espionage campaign to try to topple the leadership in Greenland so that America could conquer it. You think Denmark's going to want to buy your military equipment? Are you freaking stupid, Donald? You think that's a good look, to a good way to treat your allies? By the way, as Poland has invoked Article 4 of NATO, which is the consultation step before Article 5, which is we're going to have to go to war potentially together to stop Russia's invasion of Poland with drones. Donald Trump's response is, I don't really think that Russia did it. I'm not really going to cast blame anywhere here. It may have been a mistake. I don't know what happened. So what did Russia do? Well, they sent drones into Romania, another NATO ally. You show weakness, Putin escalates, Putin tests the resolve of NATO, and Donald Trump is showing that not only does he not have resolve, but he's a Putin bootlicker. That's what he is. He is a Putin bootlicker, and it is absolutely gross and disgusting. But it's not just losing that contract to Denmark. You also have the United States losing a pivotal contract to Portugal. Portugal picks the French Rafale over America's F-35 for NATO fleet modernization. Portugal buying from France. And by the way, we're seeing all across the country, or rather all across the world, countries reevaluating their military purchases in the United States. At the same time, you see tourism in the United States at beyond recessionary levels at this point. You want to look at the economy of Las Vegas right now? It's getting absolutely crushed as a result of Canadians, Europeans, Australians, people from around the world, people from Africa, Mexico, Central America, don't want to go there. You're going to end up in a potentially concentration camp. But by the way, we saw what happened to the South Korean workers who were all here with lawful, valid papers for a $12 billion project at a Hyundai plant. And what did Trump do? He sent ICE agents to round up over 300 South Korean workers, gave South Korea the middle finger, treated the South Korean workers who were trying to train American workers at this Hyundai plant like they were war criminals. And then after Donald Trump's like, hey, you guys want to stay? They're like, we don't want to stay. We're going back to South Korea and we ain't coming back. And by the way, remember when Donald Trump said that he had a trade deal with South Korea? Remember the big announcement, I did a deal with South Korea. There's no trade deal with South Korea at all. And Donald Trump's Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, had to admit there is no trade deal, and there likely isn't going to be one with South Korea as a result of the United States treatment of hardworking South Koreans who were trying to be here in the United States to train American workers after billions of dollars of investments by South Korea. Here's what Howard Lutnick had to say. Play this clip.
To the point on Hyundai, so is the Korea trade deal in jeopardy now?
Well, the Koreans didn't sign when the president was in, right? The president came in, you remember that? He came to the White House. Notice how we didn't talk about trade? Because he didn't sign the piece of paper. I mean, the devil is in the details always. Well, I think they saw the Japanese now, so there's no flexibility, right? The Japanese signed the contract. The Koreans either accept that deal or pay the tariffs. Black and white. Pay the tariffs or accept the deal.
But has the immigration raid led to more tension there about?
I think you're going to see President Trump go out and address that. He knows that to build these great factories, we need leadership of people who've built them before if he wants to do it fast. So I think he's going to make a deal with the different countries that when they want to build big here, he'll find a way to get their workers proper work visas, meaning short-term work visas, train Americans, and then head home. I think the president is very clear. I think you're going to see an ABC from him. A, you come in, B, you train Americans, and C, you head on home.
Again, that guy is just my Howard Lutnick impression. The Trump economy really starts in 2026. We don't own this. This is not our economy. This is Biden, okay? Trump's economy is 2026. That's what. Then we're gonna have a boom. We're gonna have a boom, okay? We're gonna have a boom. Anyway, that's my Howard Lutnick impression. I'm sorry if it's annoying, but this is back on July 30th. July 30th, a long time ago, when Fox announced Trump has done a trade deal with South Korea. No, he didn't. He doesn't have a trade deal with any country. 0 trade deals. You know why? Because a deal I need to see signed and binding. You show me paperwork that says binding and signed, and I can read the terms. Send it to me, the published one that shows binding signed by the right representatives. Anyway, here's how Fox reported it then. Play this clip.
Breaking at this moment, President Trump just announcing a trade deal with South Korea on Truth Social, saying, "I'm pleased to announce that the United States of America has agreed to a full and complete trade deal with the Republic of Korea. The deal is that South Korea will give to the United States $350 billion for investments owned and controlled by the United States and selected by myself as president. Additionally, South Korea will purchase $100 billion of liquid natural gas or other energy products. And further, South Korea has agreed to invest a large sum of money for their investment purposes. The sum will be announced when the South Korean president comes to the White House for a bilateral meeting." He also congratulates the new president on his electoral success. He goes on to say, "It is also agreed that South Korea will be completely open to trade with the United States and that they will accept American product, including cars and trucks, agriculture, etc. We have agreed to a tariff for South Korea of 15%. America will not be charged a tariff. I'd like to thank the trade representatives who came forward today. It was an honor to meet them and talk about the great success of their country." So under the wire, South Korea comes in and a trade deal is struck, according to the President of the United States seconds ago.
So Donald Trump is asked a few days back, so do you have plans to go to Japan and go to South Korea this fall? Trump's response is, what does that mean? What does that mean? Do you have plans to go to South Korea and Japan? And it's a pretty basic question. I don't know. There's a lot of things going on. Here, play this clip.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Do you have plans to go to Japan and South Korea this fall? What does that mean? Or do you have plans to go to South Korea?
Maybe. I mean, we'll see. But it's going to be very interesting what comes out. I think we may have learned something because when they come here, and there's nobody that can do what they're supposed to be doing, and they bring people, those people can also teach our people. You know, it's complicated stuff. And something very interesting could come out of that. Thank you, everybody.
Well, what you're doing as well is what you did with India, as you pushed India closer to China. You also, in the past, few months, we saw the trade representatives from China, South Korea, and Japan all meet. Do you remember when Biden was in office? Remember, not only did Biden add 2 new members to NATO, Finland and Sweden, pretty big deal to do that. That's a move of strength, especially because they're very close to Russia, that they felt protected by NATO to make that move. But Biden brought together South Korea, Japan, USA, trilateral, and Trump destroyed it. Now they're meeting with China. That's what's taking place right there. And you see, did you see this? The president of Brazil, Lula, when he came out with a very strong statement, after their Supreme Court did what the American Supreme Court was too cowardly in America to do. But in Brazil, they found their former insurrectionist president, Jair Bolsonaro, guilty and sentenced him to 27 years. That's our Supreme Court in the United States. Our chicken, S-H-I, you-know-what-I-mean, Supreme Court in the United States. Not only that's actually being nice. Our complicit in fascism right-wing Supreme Court in the United States said, you get absolute immunity, Donald Trump. Go ahead, send SEAL Team 6 to kill your political opponents. And he's like, well, maybe I'll start with a fishing boat off of the coast of Venezuela. Again, I'm not sure why I'm doing that voice, but here is Lula. Here's what he's got to say about if Trump was living in Brazil, he'd be in jail right now.
If President Trump were living in Brazil and had done what he did at the Capitol, he would be on trial here too, because here the law applies to everyone.
That's what he says. And by the way, Trump has tariffed Brazil like 50%, and Lula's like, I don't give an F. I don't give an F. Come at me, bro. Come at me. We're a sovereign nation of Brazil. You think you scare me? Do what you want to do. I'm going to represent my country.
The weather is heating up, and your nighttime bedroom temperature has a huge impact on your sleep quality. If you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend that you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Miracle Made sheets are inspired by NASA and use silver-infused fabrics that are temperature regulating, so you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. Now, using those silver-infused fabrics inspired by NASA, Miracle Made sheets are thermoregulating and designed to keep you at the perfect temperature all night long, no matter the weather, so you get better sleep every night. These sheets are infused with silver that prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. No more gross odors. Miracle Made sheets are luxuriously comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands and feel as nice, if not nicer, than sheets used by some 5-star hotels. Stop sleeping on bacteria. Bacteria can clog your pores, causing breakouts and acne. Sleep clean with Miracle. Upgrade your sleep as the weather heats up. Go to trymiracle.com/Meidas to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code Meidas at checkout, you'll get free 3-piece towel set and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/Meidas and use the code Meidas to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/Meidas to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode.
And here he talks about Trump threatening to impose tariffs on countries that do regulations of big tech. Here, play this clip.
And there's the issue of the latest news, which is the position of the United States government, acting as if it were the emperor of planet Earth. That is, it's absurd, because I won't repeat here what I've already said about Brazil, but it continues to make threats to the entire world. Now, last night at 9 o'clock, he posted on his Twitter or on his portal, I don't know, a note threatening again that anyone who messes with their big techs will suffer the consequences. It is a threat to any country. The big techs are an American asset, and he does not accept anyone interfering. This may be true for them. For us, it is an American asset, but it is not our asset. We are a sovereign country. We have a constitution. We have legislation. And anyone who wants to enter these 8.5 million square kilometers, our airspace, our maritime space, our forest, must answer to our constitution and our legislation. That's how it has to be, so that we can build and strengthen this democratic multilateral world that Brazil is committed to defending. These are important issues that are on the agenda.
And then, in a nationwide broadcast, Lula sent a message to Trump and to Brazilian politicians who encourage attacks on Brazil. History is not going to forgive you. Here, play this clip.
We are not and will not be a colony of anyone again. We are capable of governing and taking care of our land and our people without interference from any foreign government. We maintain friendly relations with all countries, but we do not accept orders from anyone. Brazil has only one owner, the Brazilian people. That is why we defend our wealth, our environment, our institutions. We defend our democracy and will resist anyone who tries to strike it. It is unacceptable, the role of some Brazilian politicians who encourage attacks on Brazil. They were elected to work for the Brazilian people, but they only defend their personal interests. They are traitors to the nation. History will not forgive you.
Can I show you this moment as well? When Brazil's Supreme Court sentenced Brazil's former president, Jair Bolsonaro, to 27 years. Watch this major historical moment right here. Here, play this clip.
In total, considering all the penalties set above and the existence, as the majority of the panel recognized of the material concurrence of offenses, material concurrence provided for in Article 69 of the Penal Code, which determines the sum of the penalties, I set the final sentence for the defendant, Jair Meiselas, that is Bolsonaro, at 27 years and 3 months, being 24 years and 9 months of imprisonment and 2 years and 6 months of detention, plus 124 daily fines, each daily fine at the value of 1 minimum wage. I set the initial regime for serving this sentence as closed regime in accordance with Article 33 of the Penal Code. The fine penalty is also set as 124 daily fines, the value of 1 minimum wage, always considered. Here I will not repeat for all the other defendants. The minimum wage is always considered as in effect at the time of the act and updated until the date of actual payment. So, in summary, 27 years and 3 months of imprisonment, being 24 years and 9 months of reclusion, 2 years and 6 months of detention, and 124 days fine is the sentence.
So you have Donald Trump continuing not just to show weakness, but complicity with Russia, right? What was Donald Trump's post yesterday morning? He goes, "This is a letter from Donald Trump." Dude, it's a social media post. Chill. It's not a letter. But then he goes, "This is a letter from Donald Trump. I will impose sanctions on Russia if Europe agrees not to buy any more oil from Russia and to impose sanctions on Russia in the amount." Europe has imposed sanctions on Russia. Europe can do more. Europe has basically, by and large, other than 2 countries, Hungary and Slovakia, who Trump's closest allies with Hungary and Slovakia. Other than that, Europe is no longer directly buying its oil from Russia. Now, there is some issues with Europe going an end run around and buying some oil from India, which basically originates from Russia. By the way, the U.S. does a lot of the same as well. And Europe, but it's a very small amount. I mean, 1%, 2%. The overwhelming supply of oil in Russia, in Europe, is not coming from Russia, other than Hungary and Slovakia. And by the way, Viktor Orban, the right-wing authoritarian leader of Hungary, wrote Donald Trump a letter. And in that letter, Orban told Donald Trump, hey, you got to tell Ukraine to stop bombing the Russian oil refineries. We depend on that oil. And then Donald Trump's like, I'm so sorry to hear that, Viktor Orban. Tell Slovakia I say hello, as though they're a person. Tell Slovakia I say hello awful. Donald Trump, it bothers me. It upsets me that Ukraine is targeting the Russian oil refineries that are supplying you with your oil. So you've blessed and supported Hungary as well as Slovakia getting their oil from Russia. We have that letter. So you've supported that. Also, you've been removing the sanctions from Russia. You're bringing in eggs from Russia as egg prices again are going up. You're bringing in eggs from Russia. Well, they have an egg shortage there. You've removed sanctions against Russian banks. And you gave Putin the biggest propaganda win of Russian history. One of the most humiliating moments in American history. with our troops on their freaking knees, rolling out a red carpet, and actually on their knees, rolling out a red carpet for Vladimir Putin as you zigzag back and forth and couldn't walk in a freaking straight line. And then Putin was laughing, and then he had Sergei Lavrov, his foreign minister, wearing the USSR shirt and laughing that, that he was even there in the first place. And then you said, oh, if there's no ceasefire, we're going to impose sanctions. And now you just change the goalposts over and over and over again. Putin did not agree to a ceasefire. Putin did not agree to a bilateral or trilateral talks. Putin did not agree to security guarantees. Putin didn't agree to anything. He escalated attacks on Ukraine, killing more innocent Ukrainians. The biggest drone strikes of the entire war by Russia took place after that Alaska debacle, which should go down in history as one of the most shameful moment of American foreign policy. America on its knees. That's how I would have framed it. But our corporate news like, that's the art of deal making, because our corporate news is just freaking stupid and propaganda here in the United States. Objectively, the weakest thing ever. That's how all of the other countries like, damn, America's fucking is did I curse? Is as weak as can be right there. But nothing came out of it other than Russia escalating its attacks, killing more innocent Ukrainians, driving more as part of its offensive, and then sending drones into Poland and into Romania. Great work, Donald. The world thinks you're an absolute idiot because you are, and you've completely thrown the United States foreign policy under the bus. Never have we been weaker. Never have we been less safe. It is a debacle, and it needs to be covered the way I'm covering it because it's the truth. Go look at international news of what's taking place. It's ridiculous. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. Thanks for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.